welcome back to the channel, folks. Yes, this is the Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler review. Yeah, spoilers. We're going to get into that pretty soon in a minute. But yes, I'll introduce my guests first. Paul Tams, how the hell are you doing, my friend?
Very well. Been riding the high of this movie all weekend. Had the soundtrack on all weekend. Been waiting to talk to you guys about it all weekend properly. Had a couple of back and forths on messages, but we need to get into this, man. This film is the tits.
Yeah, man. Andy, how are you doing, my friend? Are you coming down off the highs of Deadpool and Wolverine?
I'm still riding the highs, mate. I'm still riding the highs. You know, every time we do this, I forget that you're going to ask me how my day's been. And I never have anything planned and end up just saying, yeah, looking forward to speaking about movies and all that. So I apologise for not having it again. But I'm going to eat some, I'm prepared to eat some Marvel Fatigue humble pie. And I'll eat it gladly and ask for seconds. So.
Oh.
And I'm going to be sitting here with a smug face while you do it.
You can spoon feed it, Paul, if you like.
A small bite size of that pie, but we'll get into that. Badger, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm ready to kill people because I haven't had a cigarette for quite a number of days now. Other than that, I'm doing good. Recently had dental surgery, tooth extraction. I've had to quit cigarettes, so I've just been watching films like a mofo just to distract my mind because the irritation has been too much. So don't annoy me tonight, Alice.
Promise or what? Well, actually, I think I'll be the bad guy in this podcast tonight, but we'll get there. Right. So first off, guys, just to let you know, we'll give our initial thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. Full spoilers going forward, so you have been prepared. I will go first. I'll get my initial thoughts just out the way. If you want to check out a full in-depth spoiler-free sort of thoughts, I've got a review on the channel. But anyway, really, really enjoyed it. Elated, maybe is not the word, but I had a really, really good time. A few little problems, but it was an absolute, mind-blowing experience being able to see Hugh Jackman in the yellow and blue. And I know that's quite superficial, surface-level stuff, but when we've had this many movies with Hugh Jackman, it was like a real special thing to see. And my God, when he put that cowl on, instant boner, boys. Don't know about you, but oh my God. The white eyes just do it for me. I don't know what it is. The white eyes totally do it for me. But yeah, it was like, a cool sort of road trip movie, I suppose. Ryan Reynolds' shtick was working for me for the most part. As you're aware, and if you've watched any of my content before on this channel, I'm a little bit so on the first two Deadpool movies. And I just get Ryan Reynolds' comedy can get a bit overbearing for me sometimes. But that aside, Ryan Reynolds was awesome in it. It is very much 100% like Deadpool 3 as well. It feels like a Deadpool 3 movie. Even though we have got a lot of screen time with Logan, mostly Deadpool, but that's okay. When we get into talking about cameos, there's an absolute arm of a list. And you know what? I said in my review, this is like the polar opposite to Multiverse of Madness, where I had all these preconceived, who do you want to see? I've got a list of who I want to see, and they were just sort of that never come to fruition in Multiverse of Madness. So this was the polar opposite of that. And if you know me, I'm a big fan of Blade. So seeing Blade in this movie was amazing. I wish it sort of wasn't ruined for me about 2 months ago. And I'm not saying ruined, but this was a rumor. I think it's Daniel RPK on Reddit. He breaks a lot of scoops and stuff like that. And this was one thing he had mentioned. I tried to look away from it, and the thought I had as well is surely Wesley Snipes is not going to be doing a film with Ryan Reynolds. Do you know what I mean? There was that rumor a while ago that they had a bit on Blade Trinity. Blade, Wesley Snipes was a bad boy on Blade Trinity. There's that whole scene at the end where he doesn't even open his eyes and they had to CGI his eyes opening. If you haven't seen that, guys, please check that out, or please don't. But yeah, Elektra, Jennifer Garner, that was pretty awesome seeing her. And I loved the little line she had about his, what was it? Is it the ex-husband or something like that? I can't remember what it was, but pretty funny. And Gambit, that whole thing, we'd obviously known for a long time that Gambit was in the running to play this character. It was announced at Comic-Con a very long time ago at this point. But obviously that went down to Swanee. Not going to lie, folks, I'm sort of glad we don't have a full-on Gambit movie, because that that accent, man. Whoa. I wonder if he was going like overboard with the accent just because of
100%.
Yeah,
100% it was over, yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. Who else did we have in that team? X-23. It was awesome seeing her. I think there was no need to really show her in that trailer. That was such a like weird move, especially because the trailer only come out a couple of days before it. Mm-hmm. All in all, had a really, really good time. The opening's awesome. It closes really well. The middle bit with the Void, I'm a bit hit and miss with, because I think visually it looks pretty bleak, and I know they mention it with like the Mad Max setting and stuff like that, so that's, you know, how it's supposed to look. But whatever, I know the Void's a pretty big thing in the comics and whatnot, so but I just thought they could have made it more visually pleasing a little bit, because it looked great in Loki, you know, like in that season with all the Lokis, it looks visually mint there. But yeah, apart from a few qualms I've got with the story, especially the TVA, I'm absolutely over it. The multiverse aspect to the MCU, I'm sorry, this one didn't convince me. I'm over it. Put that to bed. Well, I'll end up watching every single Marvel film that comes out in the cinema, so I'm just being a Debbie downbeat. But I'll move this on, move it on to a more positive thoughts. I don't not like this movie, guys. It's 3.5 stars for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a 7 out of 10. I had a really good time of it. It's the leftovers of the MCU with the multiverse story that's making me not like it as much. That's all. Because if we had these characters in a different story where they've got to like infiltrate a building and take out of it, like more of a Dread situation, I'd be all for it. But because we're dealing with the multiverse, I'm a bit checked out. But anyway, Paul, we'll go to you next. Mate, Deadpool and Wolverine, overall thoughts, include the spoilers, include all the cameos, mate.
Yeah, man. Unlike yourself, I am a massive fan of the Deadpool character. That first movie in 2016 made me an overnight fan of the character, to a point where after the fact I went to the local comic store to bought a load of graphic novels. I remember buying the video game on the 360, which is quite hard to get hold of now, but I think I got it digitally. I just got entrenched in the character. I just fell in love with the character. I actually really like Ryan Reynolds' humour. I've grew up with Ryan Reynolds movies. I love Van Wilder. I love is it Just Friends it's called?
Yeah.
That one. I like Ryan Reynolds. His humour just works for me. So going into this movie, I was super excited. Obviously, Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine. I wasn't one of them people who are like, oh, why are they bringing him back? They did him service in Logan. I actually think Logan's a little tiny bit of an overrated movie. Every time I revisit that movie, my score sort of drops down a little bit. I don't dislike Logan. I just think every time I revisit it, my hype level from when it first came out dwindles every time I revisit it. I actually think this was a better Wolverine movie than Logan, and I've been thinking about it all weekend. If someone said to me now, do you fancy watching Logan, or do you want to watch Deadpool and Wolverine? I'm going to pick Deadpool and Wolverine. Just give me more what I wanted from the Wolverine character that Logan perhaps didn't. So yeah, I was super excited going into it, and it delivered, man. I was laughing my ass off from start to finish. As soon as that opening kicked in with that bye 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 intro, when he was dancing, taking out all that, I was laughing my head off. My missus next to me was fucking dancing to the song because she likes NSYNC. It was just, everything was just working for me. The story of the movie, it is a bit of a paper thin story, but that's not why I didn't want to go into all the Deadpool movies. You don't go into them for the story, even though the first one's got quite a great story, a great origin story. But you're going in for the wisecracks, the fourth wall breaking, the jokes, the sort of meta humor, the sort of riffing on comic book movies and just superheroes in general. That is the character Deadpool, and it delivered in spades in this film for me. Action scenes were fantastic, wonderfully choreographed. Needle drops are amazing. Some heartfelt moments in it. There's a bit at the end where Deadpool's holding on to the whatever the fuck it was, where he was like trying to bring the energy things together.
Exactly.
And Wolverine came in and held his hand, and that Madonna song was playing, but like a proper orchestral sort of third act version of that song. And I was just I'm welling up. I swear to Christ, I was welling up. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I'm loving this.
Man.
The cameos. The only one I knew going into it that was 100% going to be in it was Jennifer Garner's Elektra. That was sort of spoiled ages ago, like last year, that she was going to be in it. She tried to dance around that. Yeah, that was floating around for a while. The Wesley Snipes Blade one, mate, when he walked on to that fucking set in that film, like, there's feelings I cannot fucking describe to you guys. Like, I was ecstatic. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, bullshit, that's not him. That's someone they've got to look like him. I could not believe that they got Wesley Snipes back as Blade in this film, for the reasons that we've stated, that Reynolds and fucking Snipes they had so much beef on Blade Trinity that I just never thought I would see him back as Blade ever again. And it was just, yeah, if you're a fan of them films like we all are, it was just chef's kiss. Gambit, the Channing Tatum Gambit was fantastic. Like, obviously, like you said, he was in running to play him and it fell through. And I don't believe that's the version we would have got had he have done it for real. That was a very over-exaggerated one. Just the way he was doing the accent, and Deadpool's like, I don't fucking understand what you're saying, mate. That's like, even I was like, I have no idea what this guy's saying in some lines. So yeah, the cameos are great. The connection between Deadpool and Wolverine, the cameo, the chemistry between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds was fucking dynamite. Just a great film, a crowd-pleasing comic book movie. And it's one of them films when I walked out, I was like, yeah, that was a comic book movie, man. That was made for me as a fan of Deadpool comics, of Wolverine comics, growing up with these, Wolverine more, being a fan of Deadpool since 2016. It just worked for me on every level, man. I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to see it again.
Cool, man. Badger, got you next, mate. Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was in love. I was absolutely in love with him. So at midnight, I was in love with him. Me and my cousin went for his 25th birthday. We were having a right laugh. I took it. It was a birthday present for him. Started watching it. That opening when he's digging up Logan's grave, I fucking howled. As soon as he wore like Logan's fucking like claws, I was just pissing myself. Like, Jesus Christ. But so the whole thing was working for me. I thought the multiverse jokes just worked. The chemistry with Logan, that fight scene in the cars. Oh my goodness,
that was my favorite scene in the film.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Me as well.
Yeah, I was really glad. Look, it's another film that again proved that it's a good thing that I don't watch trailers, because I saw the trailers after seeing the film. I was like, why the fuck are you revealing all of this information? It's terrible. They did the same thing for A Quiet Place Day One. It's like every part of the third act is in there. I'm so tired of trailers doing it. So until someone proves me wrong, I'm just not doing it anymore. I really have given up on trailers nowadays. Still haven't watched Alien Romulus, the trailer. I've just been avoiding it like crazy. Big shame in that regard. So I pity loads of people who've been watching the trailers nonstop. But I avoided it, and plenty of the surprises got to me. The Chris Evans, fucking hell, I love that.
Caught me out. I genuinely thought that was Captain America.
Yeah,
totally. Hook, line, and sinker.
I feel really bad for my cousin, by the way. Just real quick, he's got full-blown ADHD, bless him, and he likes Deadpool and Marvel like more than I like Unbreakable. Okay, he's got like this unhealthy obsession with it. And he was already like there with his ADHD juice to watch this film for his birthday and blah, blah, blah. But he was absolutely shattered. He had been awake almost 24 hours, and he was trying to sleep to get a bit of shut-eye, to get a nap. He couldn't do it because he accidentally looked online and had a spoiler revealing that Fantastic Four, like Chris Evans was playing. It's Johnny Blaze, and it fucking irritated his mind so much that he couldn't sleep with his ADHD brain. And so there he is, like on that's why he looks a bit out of it in the video. I felt so bad for his ass. But yeah, that's what I mean. The spoilers, they can fuck people up about it, man. When it was over, I actually had to ask my cousin who the fucking hell Channing Tatum was playing as. I didn't know who that was. I didn't know. I literally, all the jokes went over my head, didn't get any of it. However, character was funny as fuck. And the Cajun accent that he has. Oh my goodness. Like, he's so good at that. He's so good at that. The Cajun accent I've always enjoyed. It's just it works for certain characters. I do remember there was a character in the video game Maneater who had it, and it was fucking awesome. I love that accent. I thought he did a good job with it. But then it happened. Now, I did mention it to you guys, didn't I? Because I think I was the one who saw it first. What did I say on WhatsApp? What did I say, guys?
Alison Ball, for the love of God, please see Deadpool 3 before it gets spoiled for you. I mean,
You know what's crazy? I was racking my head thinking, who is he talking about? Because I know you're not too deep into comic book stuff. It's like, who's someone that Badger loves in comic books that could get the same reaction? Never did I think in a million years it was going to be Wesley Snipes' Blade. That was not on my bingo card whatsoever.
Yeah, but I went fucking ballistic. You guys were the first people that I thought of. I was like, oh my goodness, holy shit. I was like, there's no debate when we talk spoilers about this. I wonder if they're going to bring this up. I went ballistic, man. I went nuts.
I think he's been to Turkey for some new fangs as well. He was struggling to get his lines out around those new titas.
He was.
I found that added to like the comedy value of his character, because it was just like, I don't know, just the fact that he was a bit older, and the fact that the fact that in real life he's been quite disrespectful and kind of petty about the Mahershala Ali casting. You know, he came out and said that when instead of coming out like most of them do and say, yeah, wish him all the best, don't fuck it up, all that, you know, he basically came out and said, they not post on Twitter like there's only one blade or something like
And he says it in the film.
And he said it in the film, which is brilliant. Like, that wasn't lost on me, and it won't be lost on any other like movie fan that follows Wesley Snipes and knows the score. So I just thought it was so funny that he was almost like playing. He was playing a parody of himself, if that makes sense. And then there's the whole like the only one blade, and then Deadpool turns and does that like face to the camera. It's just like, well, he's masked up, but you know exactly the face he's pulling. That totally cracked me up. Like, how funny it was.
Some motherfuckers are still trying to ice skate uphill.
Yeah. You know what I think is crazy about Deadpool's character? That I think he's funnier when he's got his mask on. I think his facial expressions are funnier when it's in the mask than rather than just seeing Ryan Reynolds doing it. I don't know why. It's like he is Deadpool when he's got the mask off, but when he puts it on, it's like he turns into an over. You know, it's like it cranks up to 12 when he's got the mask back on.
Yeah, I love it where the portal opens up and Dogpool comes out and he's like, oh yeah. then Nice Pool comes in and he's like, he gets that crossface,
Nice
but
Pool.
his mask proper goes in. Like that's like what you're talking about there, Paul. It's good stuff, man. But
when they all go nuts, when all the extra Deadpool characters, like when they go nuts over the dog and when they go nuts over Peter, I was just absolutely howling. I was going bonkers with it all. And it comes to Peter. When I saw was it Blade like using all of his weapons, nerdy, it's just fan service, but I like that a lot. It was nice to see Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes have chemistry together for the first time ever, because Blade Trinity never fucking happened. So that's really good news there. The other thing as well, which I am curious about, is I wonder if we're actually going to get if this will get the fires burning for an actual Blade film with Wesley Snipes, which I would be very much interested in. Yeah, it would be nice to finally get a third Blade film.
I'd love that as much as the next man, but that'd be such a shit in the on the face for Mahershala Ali. That just let the guy cook, man. Let the guy go with it.
I want to see him doing it because he's a huge talent. I think it'll be a shame if it doesn't go off the ground, his version of it. But I am kind of glad that Wesley Snipes, and everything he's kind of been through and all that, it's quite nice that he got to kind of, because I think you could tell that hurt his feelings. Like, I know it's ridiculous. He's like 60-year-old. It shouldn't be hurt. He shouldn't have been petty about it. But you could tell on a human level that it kind of affected his ego. He's getting older than that, and I don't think he liked that it was recast. So it was nice that he got to kind of come back and play the character once more, I think.
I'd love to have seen the conversation between maybe Sean Levy, Ryan Reynolds, and Wesley Snipes. I'd love to know how it went. I can imagine them, Ryan Reynolds being like, let's just squash this. Let's go and make some money, man.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But Andy, what were your overall thoughts on the whole film as a whole? Spoiler filled as you want.
Yeah, so like, I didn't have like, I knew this was going to be good. I think, you know, you've got Hugh Jackman, you've got Ryan Reynolds. I liked the first two. I'm a superhero movie fan, although I have got increasingly a bit more tired with it, as a lot of people have. But I was kind of hoping that this would stoke the fires again, and it definitely has. Like, is it a perfect movie? No, but you just can't deny it. This film is ridiculously entertaining. Like, even as it's just a brilliant comedy piece. Even if you've never seen a superhero film before, this one makes a lot of references to, you know, outside of even the superhero genre. You know, there's jokes about the Will Smith slap in it. There's I can't think off the top of my head now, but there's loads of jokes that you'll get even if you've never seen a superhero
Just
film
pop culture
before.
references.
Yeah, pop culture references and carry on. Like all the needle drops are very much of like our generation, I would say. If you grew up like in the 90s and the noughties, like these are all ones that have been picked to kind of to hit you in the feels. Like the Avril Lavigne one, I can't get that out of my head. Took me back to my youth, that one. But the Goo Goo Dolls and all that. Like, I grew up with my mum listening to that stuff. Just brilliant. But yeah, it's just so funny. Like, and it works because of like Jackman, as you guys have said, Jackman and Reynolds are perfect. Reynolds is constantly wisecracking. Jackman plays it totally straight, with a little bit of humour here and there, but it wouldn't work if he was trying to be funny. It wouldn't work. So the fact that they kind of are chalk and cheese, it works. But what surprised me actually was like you can't take away from the comedic performance. Like, it's easy. Comedic actors don't get enough praise. They never get nominations for awards and stuff. But it's like you said there, Paul. Like, it's the physicality Reynolds brings to it as well. Like all the dance routine, his mannerisms. He sells those guys. You can't see his face, but he sells them through his mannerisms. And
do you reckon that was him dancing in that start? By the way,
I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was as well.
I think it was though. I think he had the time to rehearse for that.
Yeah.
But you know, so funny. And then you've got Hugh Jackman in that sequence in the Honda Odyssey where he loses his shit. So let's just say this. First, I seen this in IMAX in Glasgow at 8 o'clock on the Thursday night, opening night. So probably the biggest IMAX screening in the country here, Scotland. And it was mobbed, and you know, you could feel the excitement in the audience, and that's just great. You know, it's great. These event cinema movies, whether you're a MCU fan or not, great for cinema. Just great experience to be part of. And like, there was a guy like 2 seats down from me, audibly lost his shit when Hugh Jackman pulled that mask up.
Oh,
he was literally shouting, "Let's fucking go!" He was like, he was panting, he was getting excited and all that. You know, there was a guy at the beginning was like singing and humming the theme tune. People clapped at the end of my screening. Some people got up and started clapping. I've never seen that before, ever.
No way.
And I've seen probably better films than Deadpool and Wolverine in the cinema, but I've never seen someone get up and clap. But there was someone else that said, "Sit down, what are you doing?" To be fair, kind of pissed off. A group of people got up and clapped, and I thought, you know, like, fair play. You know, that's how like entertaining it was. But so it was a very engaged audience that was laughing all the way through it. I was laughing all the way through it, and I'm not one. I don't watch a lot of comedy, and I'm not a laugh out loud type of person, but I was with this film. I don't know what. I don't know if I just needed it in my life at the time, but I was finding it genuinely funny. And I'm kind of with you, Ellis, in that Ryan Reynolds is good at what he does, but he's just Ryan Reynolds all the time. And Deadpool was the sweet spot of where he found a character that he could best be Ryan Reynolds in. Like, in that world is when that's when he's at his best. But he just plays various levels of Deadpool really in every movie he's in. So I kind of get tired of it as well. But I think he's a good person. Like, and you shouldn't let that seep into like your kind of critical take on it.
I know what you're saying.
I just like him as a person. I like that he's went and, like you say, quashed issues with Blade in the name of making fans happy. You know, he's went and the whole thing with Wrexham and all that. Yeah, he's a businessman, but I just think there's a good essence to him. So I overlook the fact that he's a bit of a one-trick pony because he's very good at what he does, and I'm just on board with it. But again, back to my point, the whole cinema is like is laughing and joking and all the rest of it, and then Jackman goes on that vicious, angry rant in the car.
Oh, and mate, it's my favourite monologue in the film.
Quiet. Just went fucking totally quiet because it was like nobody was expecting it, and it was kudos to Jackman because it just showed his acting chops. Because in probably what is one of the stupidest films of all time, he manages right in the middle of it to completely just for that brief few seconds, like change the tone altogether, and it's brilliant because it pretty much sums up everything. It's basically, it's like,
I felt so sad.
it's really exposition for the Wolverine character in this film without
There's a lot
actually
of that in
going
this film,
direct.
like.
Because the way he goes off, the totally over the top response he has at Deadpool is a window into like how hurt this guy is, like how angry at the world he is, how angry at himself he is for letting down the X-Men and all the rest of it. So it's kind of like exposition delivery without you actually knowing that's what it is. I just thought that bit was like fantastic, and that whole scene in that is amazing.
When it cut to him just all tied up with the fucking the tape and the seatbelts, and I was laughing my ass off, man.
I didn't really find it, like you're saying you were tearing up at the end and stuff. I didn't find it emotional at all. Like that scene was great. You know, that kind of angry delivery of lines.
Not like a cry emotional, just like I was just like, oh, this just because it was at the end, I was like, oh, this is fucking sick.
Absolutely.
It was just an excellent like event film. I described it in Letterboxd as, I would say this is the end game of the 20th Century Fox X-Men run. That's kind of what it's like. It kind of ties up all that. So I think it's more a film within that genre than it is an MCU film. I think there's a lot made about it being an MCU film, but it doesn't really. You've got the TV in it, basically kind of saying the MCU almost comes in as like this negative force that's like, yeah, we're shutting down your timeline, which is really just we're saying we're shutting down Fox, and he's like, oh fuck, no, I need to save Fox, and then it's like it's a big Fox fest after that. So it's not really it's like a film with an MCU influence, but it doesn't. That didn't feel to me like the way what it was billed as. Is that here's Deadpool and Wolverine in the depths of the MCU. I think that's still
my mate Luke, who you guys know, went to watch it last night, and he's been off the Marvel train for a while. He hasn't seen Loki, he's seen none of the TV shows, he hasn't seen Multiverse. I think the last one he watched was Spider-Man, and I asked him, said, did it feel like a connective part of the MCU? And you were like, oh, I've missed some here. And he was like, nah. He said he quickly understood what the TVA was, what they were talking about. And he said, to be fair, I wasn't even asked about any of that. I just wanted to see these two characters on screen. And I think that, like you're saying, that is what it does have little like tissues, like connective tissues to the MCU. But I think it stands alone, as just its own comic book movie, and just as a Deadpool 3, it's like the third act of the trilogy.
It's a comedy at the end of the day. Who the hell's watching Logan and thinking,
it's a big action comedy.
What happens next?
Yeah.
Exactly. Who the hell's going to watch Logan and actually literally think, by the way, this is what happens next? No, it's an alternate universe. It's a comedy.
Yeah.
I don't know how anyone could get so offended when the idea of Wolverine coming back is like, come on, this isn't really Wolverine. It's a comedy. It's just its own universe thing.
It is hilarious. Like that, people had like, I probably said it at some point that I've got like a problem with Logan coming back and they're destroying the legacy of Logan the film, and like just to like really really fucking hone it in that intro where he's like literally digging his grave up. I was like, that is one thing that like got me at the start. I was like, oh my god, that is so.
I think when you're so enamored with comic books, which I have been for my whole life, like I've seen fucking 50 Spider-Men, I've seen 20 different versions of Wolverine. Do you know what I mean? Like I've said this before, when I'm watching MCU films and people think differently and they've told me they feel differently because it's a different form of storytelling, I just view each film just like I'd be reading a comic book. Do you know what I mean? Like, and even when you read Marvel comics, I could pick one off the shelf now and read it as its own story, and I could read it top to bottom and be fine with it. But it would have little things in it where it'd be like, this happened in issue fucking of this comic, and I feel like that's what the MCU does as well. Like, I feel like for the most part, there are some films in the MCU where you do need to have watched others to make sense. But for a lot of them, I'd say more than like 60% of them, they all just stand alone on their own. I think this does as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think they maybe need to do a better job of that going forward, Paul, like you say. And that, like, I think they've maybe been guilty in the beginning of to help with the Disney platform, where it was like, you have to have seen this in order to enjoy that. Because that is a pure marketing tool, so that you'll go and buy Disney Plus. Whereas I think it should be more like, if you watch all these things, it'll be nice, but it's not going to be a case of like, if you haven't seen that, you won't understand, kind of thing. Because like the Marvels, I suppose, is a bit like that, wasn't it? Like the film. Like, if you haven't seen that
Miss Marvel
show, you're not gonna have a clue who she is.
No,
And I hadn't seen it, and I watched it, and yeah, like you say, you can kind of quickly get on board with what's going on. But it was very apparent watching that if you hadn't seen that show, it's not going to be the same impact as having seen it. So, like,
do you guys not think, like, so this film and the likes of Multiverse of Madness and stuff like that we're in this semi-dangerous position where we are now going to be expecting these cameos every time, whether the film's good or not? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's my question for you moving forward. Like, say later on down the line we have a film and there's no, we haven't got Chris Evans coming back, or we haven't got Thor coming back in. We're honing in on good stories. Is it going to be a problem if we're not going to be introducing cameos? Because I'm assuming we are, just to give you a heads up, guys, we're recording this on the day after the Comic-Con announcements for Marvel. So we've got a bit more information of where we might be going with things. Like after Secret Wars, and we maybe come back down to like base level a little bit. Are people going to be disappointed that maybe we might move forward with less cameos? All I'm saying is do we think the cameo thing is becoming a little bit of an issue, or am I just out of touch with that one?
I think as long as it depends on what, like Fantastic Four, is that the next Marvel film that's coming out that we're going to see on the big screen?
No, it's Captain America.
Oh yes, Captain
America. Say for instance in that, if the cameos make sense for the film, so for instance in Captain America, we've already seen they've got what's her face, Hulk's bloody missus. Is it Liv Tyler? Is she in it?
Oh, she in it?
Was she in the trailer? I think so. Her popping in and be like, oh, it's that character from, because at the end of the day, they are characters, and this is what comic books do. You read a comic, and characters will come in from different things. When I'm watching a film, I'm not watching it thinking, I hope this person's in it. I hope this person's in it. If they come in and serve the story, then it doesn't bother me. But like you said, we are in this multiverse saga, and the end game is Secret Wars. And if you know Secret Wars, the comic, that is cameo central. That's like every fucker in the Marvel universe on a planet fighting each other, sort of thing. So that's going to be littered with it. But yeah, as long as, without going off on a tangent, as long as the cameos serve the story and they don't feel shoehorned in, being like, oh, it's that person and we've got them back because so and so. As long as it serves the story, I'm happy with them.
Yeah, I think you're kind of right, mate, as well. And I think it is dangerous. And this is what I said off. So, as I say, when it comes to the Marvel fatigue, humble pie, happy to eat copious amounts of it, because I'm sitting here and I'm quite psyched again. I don't think it's saved. I don't think Deadpool Wolverine saved it or has staved it off forevermore. But on a personal level, it's reminded me of why I like these films. That they can be massive entertaining. That they can be it reminded me of what event cinema's about, and I really hope that's what Doomsday and Secret War and stuff builds to be again, because it's just a nice thing to experience and go and watch as a community and stuff. But it's got me kind of excited. I've just ordered on Amazon the 80s Secret Wars comic, because I'm intrigued with this announcement. And I've been kind of learning about Marvel as I've went along, but certainly with the phases 1 to 3. But this time I just want to do it differently, and I'm actually going to read the source material first, and then experience it another way, and that I'll kind of know what the source material is this time, and I'll see what they do with it. So I'm excited again, but I do have my concerns. It's still got a shelf life, I think, ultimately. Where I think it's going to go is, it can't go back. We can't go back from the multiverse. It's always going to be that now, because that's what happens with the comics as well. Like, as they went on, there's that much lore, there's that many tellings that, like Paul says, people will keep popping up here and there, and you can't really go back to one-off stories anymore unless you do them as offshoots, like what DC's done to an extent. You create another studio that just turns out, here's a Spider-Man noir standalone film, boom, that's it. It's nothing to do with that. Maybe Disney Plus is the right place to farm those kind of like one-shots elsewhere things out. But I think basically in the next 10 to 15 years, what's going to happen is we're going to get the announced Doomsday and Secret Wars, parallel to that, you're going to have James Gunn's DC thing, which can only take off. I can't really see that not doing well under his leadership. So you've got two massive comic book lovers in the form of like Kevin Feige and James Gunn, and then you'll get a Marvel DC crossover. I think that will happen in the next 10 to 15 years, and then that will kill it, because where do you go after that? Where do you go? I'm not saying there won't be any more superhero films, but once we kind of get to that, that'll be like 25 to 30 years of superhero genre like dominating the box office, and I think that'll be, what do you do after that? I think it'll kind of reset.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like, it's crazy, like where they can go with it. But in like comics, there is always that reset button, and I don't know if you can do that in movie format. This is where, like I always say, I always try and view the movies the same as I do comics, but they are two very different forms of entertainment. And can you hit the reset button? Can you just go, right, we're restarting again now, we're bringing in the same characters, but we're going to recast them, tell you different stories. In like 20 years, we get a new Iron Man with a different actor, complete different story to that first Iron Man film. Do you know what I mean? Complete different tone. Can they do that?
Could we not do the Ultimate Verse? Like Spider-Man Ultimate and stuff like that, what they did in the comics, where it was a total switch. It was like a new Iron Man, new Thor. It was a total like rebrand, like a reinvention. Could we not maybe do something like that? Maybe it's after Secret Wars.
That's what I'm saying. Can they do that? Well,
I think people
get on board with it? And
you know what? I've got a name for who should play Wolverine. Henry bloody Cavill. Oh my God, that was so sick. That whole montage, by the way, with the power of love, that was just so, that was epic.
Did you notice that Cavill did his like Mission Impossible like arm reload as he brought the claws out? I didn't notice when I watched it. Someone reposted the clip on Twitter, and you see him like boom boom and his claws come out. I was like, how did I miss that?
Yeah, I missed that. I like the line
that claws out with the reload. Is it every time and then they come out each other? See, now that you say that, that rings a bell, but I missed that as well. I don't remember that when I was actually watching it.
I like Deadpool's line where he says, we'll treat you better than down the shit fucks at the end of the road. I was like, that is so funny, man.
What did you guys think of the X-Men characters that they brought back, like Sabretooth and Toad? And what did you think of the villain, Cassandra Nova?
I thought the villain was pretty weak, to be fair. I think she's got a more interesting backstory that's just more interesting than sort of what she was doing here. I think she was just very much there to serve the fact that we need an antagonist for Wolverine and Deadpool. It needs to be someone, sort of thing. And it's a pretty sort of cool visual element that you think it's going to be Charles Xavier when it's not. It's his sister. I didn't mind. I tell you what, I am absolutely, because this is why I'm a little bit conflicted that it's like this goodbye to the Fox universe, because to me, there wasn't like enough Fox characters in the movie, like Fox X-Men characters.
Yeah, I was expecting more. I was expecting like
James Marden.
I was expecting all them to pop up. I was in the back of the head going, they're all going to pop up at some point.
Mate, I think they're coming. I think James Marsden and the likes of Halle Berry and stuff like that, I kid you not, will be coming in like Secret Wars and Doomsday and stuff like that. I think they're going to be getting like the next hurdle, and I think that is a main reason why we didn't get the likes of James Marsden and Halle. There's no way they're doing James Marsden dirty. They're just not, because he got absolutely savaged in them first 3 X-Men films. You know what I mean?
Oh, mate, if he would have turned up in this film in that blue costume, man, my head would have gone.
Paul, I would have died, mate. I would have fucking died. Probably more so than Blade, weirdly, which is like really bizarre, but I think we've got it to come.
Cassandra Nova, the villain, just after X-Men 97 wrapped up, I went all X-Men mad and started picking up a load of X-Men books, and I got onto the new X-Men written by Grant Morrison, which come out in like 2005, I think. It's like a brand new sort of X-Men story. Yeah. And in that book, the Cassandra Nova character was first introduced. It's a Grant Morrison character that he created. And it was such an intriguing character. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. It's Charles Xavier's twin that he doesn't know, and they were separated, and she's got different powers and stuff like that. And so I was excited to see the villain. It looks just like they draw in the comic, the mannerisms and everything. But in the film, they were just like, oh yeah, I'm Charles Xavier's sister, and we were separated at birth. And I was just like, is that all you're going to give us? Like, where's Charles Xavier? Like, what is going on? I just thought I was picturing myself as sort of like a casual viewer being like, people are just gonna be like, you can't hear "I'm Charles Xavier's sister" and being like, oh, okay. Do you know what I mean?
Just move past it quickly. Like,
Yeah.
no, that might need a bit of explanation for like some of the
Yeah.
like non-comic book readers in the audience.
Yeah.
It's one of those films that you can't you definitely can't think too hard about the logistics of it, because it just doesn't make any sense at all. You know, like you say, it's supposed to be like, because of all the fourth wall breaking, that's like the void, and in the void there's like the 20th Century Fox logo, right? Which very much ties it to real life, and like it's very much, oh yes, we're aware that this is all fake and it's all a movie. So it's kind of like, well, anything goes then, really. So like people, there's no stakes then, is it? Because we're basically kind of poking fun at, like, when it's okay to turn to the fourth wall and make a silly comment and then get back to your movie, which is still set within the safe realms of the fantasy and the narrative. But when you actually start putting like the void and 20th Century Fox and all this into the actual narrative, you know, if people have called it the fifth wall, then it's kind of like, it starts to hurt your head when you think about it. So like, well, why is Cassandra Nova there? Why, if this is where they washed up, like in the real world, the studios didn't have anywhere for Blade, Elektra, and that to go, they've ended up in the void. Then why aren't the dead characters also in the void? And it's like, you know, it doesn't
gets a bit messy.
It gets messy, aye. So it's like, you just don't think about it, and you take everything at face value, and I was just there for the bat. Anytime Wolverine and Deadpool on screen, I just, like, if they just went to the pub for the whole film, put the piss at each other, I'd have still watched it, because it's like, that's what you're there for. The storyline's paper thin, but I didn't care. I wasn't really caring what the storyline was. I just wanted the next joke, you know, or the next action scene.
I've got a couple more questions. Sorry if I keep asking. I'm just really interested in your thoughts on this all years. Did you think it was a weird decision to have him broke up with his missus at the start? Yes, I thought that was quite a weird choice. And did you think that? Did you feel at all that sort of like Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead and all them were sort of sidelined? I know if they added them in, it might have made the film a bit too much. Like there was too much going on.
Convoluted.
But I felt like they were sidelined a little bit, considering they are staple Deadpool characters now, and they sort of just show up at the start and the end. And did you think it was weird that what's his name was missing? Weasel, his mate with the glasses, TJ Miller. Because I know they had a falling out, him and Ryan Reynolds.
They fell out, didn't they?
Yeah, so I thought he was missing as well, because I do like his character in the first two. But I thought that him splitting up with his missus, like that was the start of the film. I thought that's a weird, because the whole point of the second film was him bringing his missus back to life. Like that was the whole story. And then they were just like, they're mates in this now.
And the first one was him trying to get his missus back. Like, that was the first one. The second one was bringing her back to life. So very strange, completely unnecessary. Just have them together. Just if you want to sideline them, I can handle it. I can completely handle that, but having them split.
Deadpool's storyline in this film is fucking ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous. It's like, you know, like what, he's lost his purpose and he's became a fucking car salesman.
The car salesman.
Fuck off! Like that's a lot of shit. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's so fucking ridiculous that it's funny, and because the tone of the film is that even the film's not taking itself serious, then it's okay. Does that make sense? But it's a strange place tonally to be, where sometimes they want you to take it serious, sometimes, or the majority of the time, they're not. You know, and I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but do you know what I mean? It's like, you're right, like, how stupid is that storyline? Like, he looks like a fucking scrotum, right? He's hideous looking. He's with this absolutely amazing woman who he's like, for like you rightly said, for 2 films, he's moved heaven on earth to be with her. Then he just like loses his purpose. Just, you know, like, he doesn't, someone like Deadpool who doesn't give a fuck about anything, is so offended by Happy Hogan saying, "No, you're not getting into the Avengers." And he fucking goes off the rails and has like a
great scene, by the way.
And becomes a fucking car salesman with a wig on. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, you think of Deadpool in the first one before he even gets like the cancer, how much of a badass he is, like how
with
he doesn't care about anything, like nothing's off limits to him, you know. And now he's got to the point where he's wearing this daft wig and you know, he's lost his partner and all that. It's just like,
I thought they were going to double down on the Vanessa stuff, and I thought it was going to be revealed like, oh yeah, Vanessa's left Deadpool and she's with Peter now. That's what I thought.
Oh,
Like,
that would've
there's
been
going to be a
good.
reveal at the start.
do Pinder or something.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the. I'm taking over the. I'm taking
Go
over
on,
the
go
stream
for
here.
it,
Sorry,
Paul,
Alex.
do
That's
it.
all right.
We have to talk about the Deadpool Corp, man. They we had Lady Pool, Dog Pool,
Oh man.
Head Pool, Wrexham
Was who
Pool.
get, yeah, Wrexham Pool.
Wrexham Pool was played. Welsh Pool was played by a Wrexham player.
No
Right,
way.
man.
Matthew
yeah.
McConaughey played the cowboy one and
Yeah,
voiced
you
it.
can tell his accent.
Fuck off.
Blake,
Oh,
his
man.
missus, Blake Lively, was Lady Pool, which everyone was speculating, but they didn't see her face or
Yeah.
don't think. Did she have speaking lines? I think she did.
Yeah, she
But
did.
it wasn't until the credits rolled up because I was like, who are all these fucking Deadpools? And I wanted to know, and it was like Matthew McConaughey, Blake
Matthew
Lively.
McConaughey. Jesus Christ, I
Yeah.
knew that voice from somewhere.
Yeah.
Am I right in
Fuck,
saying
you know.
Rob, I can never pronounce his name, Rob McElhenney, whatever his name is, his partner for Wrexham and guy was in Sunshine in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, I know.
He had a cameo as well that was cut, is that right?
Yeah. That was put on Twitter.
What was his cameo? Do you know? Do you know what he was
It
supposed
didn't
to do?
say it was just you seen that behind the scene picture, didn't you, of him in it? I think he was in a TVA costume
a
and
TVA
with Hugh
agent,
Jackman, and he put it up saying, "Can't believe my scene was cut." And Sean Levy retweeted it saying, "I will go through heaven and earth to find that footage and put it on the Blu-ray." I think he said, or the
Yeah, it must.
the
I
deleted
thought
scenes.
that as well. Like, surely that's his like bestest buddy just now, and like his cameo was cut. How does that happen? You know, you can build bridges with Wesley Snipes, but somehow you can manage to cut your best mate's cameo out of one of the biggest movies of all time.
Class. Did anyone notice any more cameos, like in the background or anything, when they were in that void scene? There was one guy there with a red and white shirt on. Was that the Russian villain from The
Yeah,
Punisher?
I don't think it was Kevin Nash though, was it? It wasn't the
No,
same
it wasn't.
actor, was it?
No.
No,
Vinnie
I
Jones
thought
either.
the same thing.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. The Fox fucking Juggernaut. That was great.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I was so
Toad was
annoyed.
there.
I
Saber
was so
Tooth.
annoyed. Vinnie Jones was meant to come back, but he turned it down. I was so annoyed.
Really?
Hey, what?
He was meant to. He turned it down because he didn't want to be in the suit all day. And I
Too
think
busy.
he was. No, it's not that he didn't want to be in the suit all day because it really is stressful. And the second one was that he didn't want. I think he was pissed off because for the past 20 years, people have been coming up to him saying, "Don't you know who I am?
Ah, mate.
On the Juggernaut.
Bitch."
Well, actually, it's funny that because I watched a reel that he was in just tonight before we came on, and he said he was talking about that, and he said it was to do with the budget, or maybe he's changed his tune a bit. He said
Vinnie
it was something
Jones
to
is
do
too
with
expensive.
Yeah, no, he said it was like, oh, the budget was pretty stretched, and it was going to mean no suit or something like that. The reel said so. He basically goes on to say that Deadpool is his favorite superhero film. Like he loves the franchise, so it was a bit contradictory because it was kind of like, well, if it's your favorite, like surely if it's your favorite, you just be in it. So it's kind of like, I don't know if he was just saying that to kind of save face because he turned the guy down, but they kind of referenced that, didn't they? Did they not say? They're not saying in the film though. Like they don't mention Vinnie Jones, but they say you're dead, you're Juggernaut, but you're not that Juggernaut, and not that Juggernaut. You're the new Juggernaut or something like that. I can't remember. There's some comment like that in it anyway.
Oh yeah, because obviously in Deadpool 2 we had a Juggernaut there as well, didn't we? Yeah.
Who must have been Cassandra Nova's brother as well? Because
Oh yeah.
Aye, so there was no mention of that either.
Oh shit! Yeah. I've just put two and two
What is
together
it?
there.
What are they? They're not brothers, are they? They're cousins or something, aren't they? They're like, but they are related.
No, I think they're brothers, aren't they? Charles
They're
and
two
Juggernaut.
brothers,
Are you
eh?
sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Oh.
I thought
But,
it was cool seeing Sabretooth back and Tyler Mane.
That was.
Well,
I
that's
thought
cool.
that Sabretooth thing was going to be a misdirect, because they'd said beforehand that we've changed a few things in the trailers. So what you're seeing in the trailers isn't actually what's in the film. And I'd heard on the grapevine that like there was going to be like a showdown with Wolverine and Hulk. I thought like that was going to be the misdirect, and Sabretooth was actually going to be Hulk, and that was going to be like the big showdown. But we obviously get like 0.1 seconds of Hulk in that,
That was
montage,
funny,
don't we?
It was funny. Like, with
That's coming down the line, that for sure, definitely. Did anyone notice Bullseye, by the way? So when the trailer, when the trailer come out, right? there was a shot, wasn't there? And it's when they're in the void, and it's basically a lineup, and in the background there's like a black guy with like a long trench coat on, and everyone on the internet was like, "That's Blade. That's got to be a version of Blade." That when you actually see him up close, it's a bullseye variant of the Ben Affleck Daredevil. So next time you watch it, right, look at that guy. He's got the bullseye thing on his head. You know, the same as Colin Farrell, where it's just like indented into his head. That's bullseye variant.
I think this film's going to be such a good rewatch because there's so much in it that you're going to pick up different things. That, even jokes, because the jokes are firing fucking 10 a minute, and you're laughing at one, and he's saying there's more, and there's a few jokes that I missed as well. I was just laughing at other ones.
The end credit scene was good. Like, see the. It's just like so ridiculous. You could see in Chris Evans' face that he wasn't even acting. He was just trying his hardest to get that dialogue out without in one take, because it's just not his thing to speak that quick the way Reynolds does. You can see him almost like cracking up, about to laugh at how like ridiculous the dialogue is. He's not taking a breath, and he's just spitting it out.
I bet he had a great time doing that, Chris Evans, because he's so used to being the America, writers and justice of Captain America for so long that he can fall back into that role. And he was like giving it the same as Ryan Reynolds was. It was their back and forth, funny as hell, man. You killed Johnny.
I love how they keep calling him Johnny. Like, I know that's his name, but just the fact that they call him Johnny the whole way through, man. Brilliant. I actually liked it just before Johnny got killed and got all his skin ripped off. That was brutal, by the way.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that at all. But I like the fact that like Logan's trying to like de-escalate the situation and try to basically save him. Do you know what I mean? It just sort of reminds you that like, oh yeah, at the end of the day, like Logan Wolverine is a hero. He's like a hero. He's trying not to get this guy bloody killed, where Deadpool's just being a dick. Do you know what I mean? So I did like that sort of aspect to it. But yeah, guys, we're about nearly done here. Have we got anything else we want to bring up? Spoiler wise,
I just wanted to know, like, why the hell it took him so long to put his mask on. You know what I mean?
I know.
As in, I'm not talking about in this film. I mean, as a whole,
in general.
Right.
Seriously, this could have looked awesome all this time. Because I thought he looked great in it.
It took them 20 years to realise that people want to see comic book accurate characters on screen. That's why.
You know what I really want to see moving forward in like DCU Batman? Him adopt them white eyes. I would love to see a Batman with them eyes, man. I think it'd look really cool.
They kind of did it with Batman versus Superman, didn't they? Kind of with the lights.
Yeah, with the suit.
Where do you guys see it going next? Where do you think we'll put Deadpool pop up again?
I think he's going to be like a fucking main character moving forward in like not like, because we didn't mention this. It's the anchor being. This is like a new bit of law, I think, isn't it? In like the MCU. I haven't heard this before. So each universe, each world has an anchor being. And the reason why Deadpool's world was going to shit is because in his world, the anchor being was Logan, the Logan that died at the end of 2017 Logan. So I could see basically off the popularity of this film, because it's made $500 million in one weekend pretty much, that they're just going to look at Ryan Reynolds to literally be Marvel Jesus. Do you know what I mean? The only problem with Deadpool moving forward in the Marvel films is that he is an R-rated character. So how are they going to handle this? And they're going to have to dilute him. And by us sitting here and saying, oh, they'll just bleep it when he swears, by us saying that and already saying that, it's already a bit like sort of do something else here a little bit.
If I'm a betting man, I think the next time he'll pop up is Secret Wars. I don't think we'll see him now till Secret Wars. They've got so many other projects going. They've got Fantastic Four to bring in. They've got
enough handle in Doomsday.
Doomsday. We've got, like I said, Fantastic Four, new Captain America. And by the time we've rolled through them, we'll be leading up then to a new Avengers. And I think that's the next time we'll see him.
Whatever will happen, it will just be related to what's happening at the time. Obviously, it's going to be very current with all the parody jokes. So whatever happens to the next few Marvel films, Deadpool's going to be right there to use it as a bit of toilet paper.
I hope he gets the A logo on his suit. Because they're going to do the same thing. You know, like Peter Parker always like, "Oh, I'm an Avenger now." I think they're going to do the same thing.
They're going to do that. Yeah.
Deadpool, yeah.
And when he finally meets Thor, he's going to be constantly trying to hump Thor, isn't he? You know it, man. You know it. That's funny that way. He just kept waking up and said, "Oh, Thor."
I still want to know why the hell that happened, though, where it showed his death scene with Thor. I am very intrigued. Very intrigued. See what's going to happen there.
Marvel Jesus, man.
He is, man. He is Marvel Jesus. He's got people happy again.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely the shot of adrenaline I needed in the MCU, 100%. Like, with all the problems I've got and stuff like that. And I think I only see more negative of it because people are really positive on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm still positive on the film.
Yeah.
Just a few little timeline strands, as a TVA would put it, that don't make any sense to me. But, yeah, Andy, what do you want to see next moving forward?
I don't actually know. I think that's probably why, as I said earlier, that I've ordered the Secret Wars comic, because I'm kind of intrigued to know. I know that they're obviously heading towards that, some kind of iteration of that. So I feel like I want to read the source to get a feel for what they're looking at, and then I can maybe decide for myself or what I would like to see, what directions I would like to see them go in. But I seen an interesting post earlier, someone talking about someone was basically saying, why don't we have a Spidey that's as good a wisecracker as Deadpool? We've never really had that before, because in the comics they're kind of supposed to be, a good match for each other. Like if
you ever need to read a comic with them two together, check it out. Spider-Man, Deadpool team up, man. They're funny as hell, that comic series.
So I think that I'll definitely check that out. Maybe I think that'd be interesting. Like, of all the other characters that he could cross over with and interact with, I would like to see like Deadpool and Spider-Man. I think that could be, is in a different way, is equally satisfying as like Deadpool and Wolverine. But can Tom Holland match him? Can Tom Holland hold his own against?
See,
does it need a new, more adult casting?
I could imagine Andrew Garfield more than anyone else.
Yeah. Good shout, Badger. Yeah.
Do you think we'll see Jackman again?
Yep.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like, that's, there's no, see, there's no way we're casting a new Wolverine for the next two Avengers film, and there's no way that there's not going to be some X-Men in them two films, I don't think. And there'll be Fox X-Men, 100%. Like, they're not going to do any casting. Because imagine if they tried to cast like a new Wolverine in time for them films, it just wouldn't happen, do you know what I mean, whatsoever. And the thing is, with that as well, it's like going into the issues I've got with like Robert Downey Jr. Like, you're just setting that up for disaster for the next person who's got to come into that role if people really, really love it. Do you know what I mean? So we're definitely seeing Hugh again. In short,
I think so. I don't know if we'll ever see him top billing again. Like, I know this wasn't his solo film, but he's in the title, Wolverine.
Yeah.
Good point.
See him again, but I don't think he'll be back as like in a solo movie or as a lead character in a movie. But I seen another reel the other day where he, like, during that press tour, and someone came out and asked him that, are we going to see more of you as Wolverine and you as Deadpool going forward? And he asked it of Hugh Jackman, and he looked like he shit himself, and he turned around to Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy. He genuinely looked like as though the way you would react if you like. I think he's a nice guy, Jackman, and I don't think he's like Reynolds is much better placed to shit talk and deflect there than he is. So he kind of turns around and he's like, and then Reynolds starts deflecting, and Sean Levy, and they're kind of like, yeah, this is the point where we use our, rehearsed studio fucking guidance and we dance around it and all that stuff. So just that alone made me think, well, there's at least talks going on about it. Like, because if Jackman was proper done, he would just have said there and then, yeah, like, do you know what I mean? The fact that he reacted and looked for guidance and stuff tells me that.
What does Deadpool say to him in the film? They've got you till you're 90, something like that.
Even at the end, he says, "Well, we'll see each other again." When they're sitting having the shawarma, which was funny when they're like, because they're so true. Like, the Avengers did discover shawarma, It was only after the Avengers that I started to see shawarma places fucking popping up everywhere. But they're sitting there and he says, "Can we team up?" He says something like, "Can we team up again, or will I see you again?"
Yeah.
And then Jackman says like, "No," or Wolverine says no, but he says it very much in a way that to me was obvious. It was his way of saying, "You're not going to see me, Hugh Jackman, again in these films." But then he walks away, and I thought he's going to walk into the sunset here, and that's the last we'll see of Hugh Jackman. But then he shouts him back, and then they're all sitting around and fucking singing "Kumbaya" and having and it's kind of like, it kind of ends in a way that you think, yeah, there's definitely going to be more of this. So
I wonder if they're like bunk buddies now moving forward, like flatmates. Like, I wonder if he's like getting a room around there, because it is home, like Logan's home. This version of Logan, his world's destroyed now. He's in this world, isn't he now? Mm-hmm. Question for you: is this world we're in at the end of the film? What world is this? Is this the sacred?
I'm glad you.
Is this the sacred timeline?
No, they do that thing, don't they? Where like in Marvel comics and DC do it as well. It's like Earth fucking 38 and that, and this they take the piss like it's Earth 1000 and fucking 28 or something like that, don't they? Yeah.
I was a bit confused with that at the end, though.
So is he in? So what's the sacred timeline? Is that the MCU timeline that they keep referring to?
Well, I think so.
So see, by the end, I wasn't sure about that either because the plot's so shitty. Is that what's happened? Has Wolverine came from wherever the fuck he was and has ended up in the sacred timeline? Let's call it the MCU timeline.
So I think Earth 1028, whatever they call it, was the Fox universe,
right?
And then TVA brought him and essentially then brought Wolverine into the MCU.
Right. Okay. So that's where they are at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
I think so.
There's definitely going to be more of them then.
Let's watch it again.
Definitely.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
There's going to be loads more to come, and the only problem I would have with like Wolverine coming back is if he does have a solo movie that's like all dark and serious, because then that's just completely retconning and fucking off what they did with Logan.
Yeah,
I think if you're going to incorporate him more from now on, I think it should be in comedies like this. In Deadpool, definitely. That's the only role where I want to see at least Hugh Jackman come back as Wolverine. Yeah, so another Wolverine, fine, whatever. But this one specifically, Hugh Jackman, I think it could only really work and stuff like Deadpool, really, in my personal opinion. But who knows? I could be wrong.
Just what you're saying about that as well, and Badger, and what you were talking about earlier about the whole suit thing. Like, I think you said, it's taken all this. It's taken us this long to finally see it, but I think it would only work in this film because
good point.
It is such a piss take and it's such a carry on and it was all fan service. So because I did still find it jarring. Like, I thought it was amazing. See that whole side scrolling sequence, absolutely amazing. And I didn't look at Deadpool once. I just watched.
Oh, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's almost set up that way because he's yellow and it's a sea of Deadpools. So you're just you don't take your eyes off Wolverine for the entire time because you're like, holy shit, that's so cool. And obviously Deadpool's there as well. And it's funny when he's got them all like in a scrum and he's like fighting them all, and Deadpool's behind, like shoving him along. Like, but I did still find it jarring. Like, see, as much as it was amazing in the context of that film, because we all kind of knew it was coming. We've been wanting it for 20 years. So it's fine in the context of the film, but I did still look at it and go, God, it is proper comic booky. It's proper ridiculous looking. It looks ridiculous. But and I don't mean that offensively, but it you can tell why it's not being in, because can you imagine him cutting about like that? In the first X-Men film, can you imagine you've got Cyclops looking like he did and all that, and then you just got him with that big mask and fucking ears and all that? Like,
I could. That's the thing. I kind of could. Well, but at the same time, maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, that's just my opinion, but it works perfectly in this. But I think it's because the stage is set for it, and the tone of the movie and everything kind of allows it.
I like how there was an actual reason for him wearing the suit in this one.
Yeah, that was clever.
Because in the car, when it snaps and when he stops the car is when he's asking about the suit, I think it is, and he was like, just don't say anything else about the suit, sort of thing. And doesn't he mention the reason why he does wear the suit is because, what was it? His X-Men died in their suits, and it was like to like sort of He's wearing it for them, basically. Do you know what I mean? So that's why he
Yeah.
gets so fucking touchy about it when he brings it up in that car.
That's deeper than I was expecting. In a
Yeah,
Deadpool
same.
Wolverine.
I love that.
It was clever, that. It was clever. And it gave it, a lot, like you say, a little bit of kind of emotional heft. So, but I didn't know if it was. See, to be perfectly honest, guys, I didn't know the hood was coming. Like, I bet me was thinking, surely they're not gonna have him like neck to toe in it and not just go that extra 5%. But it went that long that I thought, and it's a while before he does it, that I thought maybe they're not. Maybe they don't even think it's like you know, it's too uncool for him to have the cowl up. So it did actually kind of catch me out. See, when he went to put it up, and you've got like a predicament on, that was proper.
It's a money shot.
That was satisfying.
I had it spoiled in some of the marketing, you know, when they were showing off like popcorn buckets early and stuff, and it had images of him on with the cowl up.
I didn't even think about that, to be fair. Like, even
me
the popcorn
neither.
bucket, I didn't even think, because I just thought, oh, it's Wolverine, you know. But
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I didn't think. Yeah, good point. Actually, yeah, same as Andy. I didn't think of that. Yeah, shit. I want that bucket, by the way. Not to use it, to eat out of it.
Yeah, I was a bit jealous when I sat down and I realised, I was like, oh, they've got like proper buckets of there, bloody hell. Because I was there on my own at that screening at midnight, so I was just like, right, get my seat and sit down, like, don't look anyone in the eye, because I thought there might have been people there and you, whatever. But when they started coming in with the Deadpool heads, and they're like proper scale, aren't they? They're like they're really big. I was like, does anyone know how much they were, by the way?
$15.99.
Was it?
I asked the guy and I went, how much are the buckets, by the way? He went $15.99. I went, never mind. Just went into the cinema. Think I made the money.
It's annoying. They don't sell them up here, or they didn't sell them in Odeon. Don't have them. And then I've got Melon round the corner, and they have another variant of it, which is kind of cheap and nasty. It was like just a kind of like figurine on the lid. Odeon had like a metal tin, but it was like with Deadpool and Wolverine like graphics on the side. But none of the ones up Maui were doing that bucket that's been going viral, you know, with the mouth open.
If they had the Wolverine one, I would have been like coming out the cinema, waking like my mum up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Mum, I need 20 quid for a Wolverine bucket right now.
The Alien Romulus one looks a bit mad as well. The popcorn bucket for Alien Romulus.
Is that legit? That the Xeno one?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah,
Man, that film, man, Jesus Christ, it looks amazing. Every time I see that film in the trailer, it's just like,
I still don't know, by the way. I still don't know about that film. Like, I haven't seen a single trailer for it yet, so I still have no clue. You're
gonna have a euphoric experience, my friend, because them trailers in the cinema, it's a sound design of them trailers in the cinema that's doing it for me. It's just like, oh, it's amazing, crunchy.
I was tempted to get that popcorn bucket and I never go for stuff like that, but I was so close. I actually had it in my basket at one point on the app, because I thought, you know, I watched tons of movies in the house, so it wouldn't actually be the worst thing to have a reusable popcorn bucket rather than. But it was like you say, Paul, I think it was like the one that Odeon were doing was like $19.99, and I think if you wanted it included in your meal, so I was getting like the nachos and all that, which came to like 13 quid anyway. If you wanted it included, like the popcorn, a drink, and whatever, it was like 30 quid.
Yeah, you're talking a 4K.
30, like
talking a steelbook,
like. It was like, Jesus Christ.
The Wolverine popcorn bucket apparently is going for like 100 quid.
It is, America. On eBay and that.
Is it?
Yeah, people are scalping that on eBay.
Yeah.
I liked the June one. I don't think the June one was available in UK, was it at all?
I didn't see anyone with that one over here. Like, I was shocked that we got these ones. I know they did one for Barbie, didn't they, last year? You could get the car. Or was that over in the US, that?
I don't know.
Anyway, right, we're going to stop talking about popcorn buckets. We're done with this review, spoiler review. Right, guys. Paul.
Yes.
Have you got anything you want to plug, my friend, before we leave?
Oh yeah, I have this time. For anyone who's listened to us ramble on for an hour and 11 minutes, and you get to this bit, I'm plugging my brand new YouTube channel. I've been hounded by these guys around me here to start another YouTube channel. I did have one, and I sacked it off. And it's called Paul Tams. I talk everything movies, especially horror. And within a week, I moved away from that and did a Deadpool and Wolverine review, which is on it. But at the moment, I'm currently reviewing the Alien movies leading up to Romulus, called The Road to Romulus. I've reviewed Longlegs from a couple of weeks ago. I've done like my favourite horrors of the year so far video. It's early infancy channel, but if you're watching right here, right now, and you fancy subscribing, you've liked what I've chatted about in here, go over to that channel.
Badger, where can the good people find you?
YouTube and Instagram, baby. Badger Phipps. And yep, you're gonna get all sorts of sections there. Not really. I don't. What is it? I've slowed down a fair bit recently. I've decided to start posting once every 2 to 4 weeks. Like I'll be doing more content, like longer videos and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna be. I've decided that I'm not gonna be reviewing brand new films constantly anymore. It's just too much with all the writing and all the other voice acting projects I've got going on. It's going to be a big mess. Just going to struggle with it. So I've slowed down a bit, but good news, you'll still get longer videos. So you will technically be getting the same amount of content, just not as forced. Be a lot more passionate. So that's definitely going to be a thing. And also I'd like to plug Andy's unboxing for the 4K Blu-ray of Deadpool and Wolverine. Is definitely on its way. At least he better do, or I won't.
When it comes out in pre-order, mate, yeah, I'll probably do it.
Yeah, look, guys, I think it's safe to say all 4 of us are getting that 4K Blu-ray, right, of Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah.
Oh, definitely getting the Blu-ray. Looked amazing on the IMAX. It's got it's that marble clean digital look. I know that cinephiles shouldn't like that, but I like it.
I do.
It shows up on TV.
Yeah, I'm getting that big time, man. Big time.
Andy, have you got anything coming up you want to plug, mate, or anything like that?
Yeah, fairly steady-ish stream of stuff. There's a few reviews up there. I've still got the Aliens 4K review to do, which I know is kind of old news, but I just wanted to do all 3 for my subscribers and stuff, which I'll probably speak more about the whole remaster versus revision on it. I'll cover the quality, but I'm just going to talk more about the people's kind of reception of that 4K. So I've got that coming up. Got a few things in the pipeline actually. I'm in dialogue with my local cinema about doing a kind of piece on that because it's just been recently refurbished. Getting into the booth and interviewing the projections and stuff like that. So
that's great.
I've been wanting something like that for a while because I haven't done any kind of out and about, ones that aren't just the kind of usual halls and stuff. And I've got a kind of collector's series, Confessions of a Collector, I'm calling it, which is going to be 5 kind of videos on pitfalls for collectors. So yeah, just kind of
credit card debt.
Stuff coming. What's that?
Credit card debt.
Credit card debt. Yeah, that gets talked about, mate. That gets talked about. So yeah, a bit different for me, but yeah, just want to kind of talk about the mentality, the kind of darker side of collecting that nobody talks about. Everyone just talks about, look at this unboxing or get this or this is amazing, and nobody talks about, maybe you shouldn't be getting a Klarna when you've got about 10 grand on a credit card for all the rest of your collection or whatever.
FYI, when the Deadpool and Wolverine Steelbook comes out, and I do only have £35 left in my account, I'll be spending it on the Deadpool and Wolverine 4K Steelbook.
Yeah, head over for all the usual 4K physical media reviews, the odd live stream. I'm still alive and well over there.
Now, Paul, when you do Alien 3, you best be gentle, man, or I'm unsubscribing.
I like Alien 3 a bit more than most people, so it's not a perfect movie, but I've got thoughts on it.
Okay, man. I'm really intrigued to hear what you got to say about that bad boy, because I've been enjoying these videos on Alien so far. I just look forward to that one. I do. I'm intrigued. Cool, man.
Yeah, guys, and as far for me, I've got 2 videos coming out this week. So when you'll be watching this video on Monday, I've got 2 videos coming out. I've got my top 5 picks for DCU's Batman, James Gunn's Batman. My other video is an X-Men ranking that'll be coming out at some point this week, including Deadpool and Wolverine in that one. So keep your eyes out for that one. This has been the Total Movie Recall channel. Thanks for coming on, guys. This has been Deadpool and Wolverine spoiler review. We'll catch you next time.